Southeast Asia's tech industry is a focal point where geopolitics meets technological innovation. European and American firms expand while China secures supply chains. Ideological differences are shaping strategies, impacting investment decisions. And more initiatives like the ASEAN Economic Community foster growth, but also draws concerns about sovereignty that persists. Navigating these challenges demands strategic foresight, both to also unlock sustainable growth in the region's dynamic tech sector. Joining me today is Dr. Karl from the Institute of China Studies at to share his thoughts. Doctor, thank you for doing this. Let's look at some key factors now that are driving the recent trends we see of European and American companies expanding their operations progressively and actively within Southeast Asia's electrical and electronics manufacturing sector.
Okay. The key factors, of course, we know that the U.S.-led Western camp and China are having their own divergent ways of de-risking each other from each other's supply chain. So from the U.S.-led Western countries, this particular concept is called de-risking of China supply chain. And for China's perspective, they also wanted to de-risk from their dependence of Western chips and even other technologies. So basically, these two things happen in tandem that allow more European and American companies to search for greener pasture or even diversify their suppliers out of China itself.
We look at some of the strengths here, and it does look like China is undertaking all it can to secure its crucial supply chains in sectors where it could face potential disruption or interference from Western powers. What particular measures is China taking at this point to secure its crucial supply chains?
Well, China has put in a lot of, capitals, money, investments into its domestic suppliers, domestic producers of all these chips, equipment, even packaging and testing of these semiconductor. Even for the substrate, China also doing the same, putting in many, building up a lot of its domestic companies from scratch. Some companies just get the funding the moment they just open their companies. And of course, the impacts of this or the effect of this kind of massive funding is varied among each other. So some companies are doing better. Some companies didn't do well at all. So it all depends on whether these companies have been able to tap on this massive fund for their own future development. From what I see right now, China is concentrating on two companies. One is Huawei, and the other is SMIC. Their own chip makers is equivalent to Taiwan's TSMC. So they are trying to concentrate on these two makers instead of spreading a lot of the fundings to different domestic companies. So this is the latest strategy they are embarking on.
Right.
Basically to ensure their self-sufficiency.
With so much activity and focus in Southeast Asia in terms of its response to technological advancements and also the shifts in market demands, how do you foresee the semiconductor industry evolving here within the Southeast Asian belt?
Well, first of all, we will be the most quoted party in this entire supply chain of the semiconductor industry. Reasons are many. One of them is that we have several countries here that have a certain level of semiconductor presence within the supply chain. So it's very natural for them to find a place, locations like us here, which have cheaper labor costs, and for them to utilize our countries as spaces to export to the consumer markets like the US, for example.
We take a look at
So
what is now, happening as well. The ASEAN Economic sort of initiative. How does this regional economic integration going to help the overall landscape in terms of the growth as well of the tech sector within Southeast Asia?
So as we started to see the surge of semiconductor investments or semiconductor-related investments coming to this region, we also need to contemplate further. Instead of just let's say doing individually to attract these investors to come to each of our countries in Southeast Asia, what we can do is really to find a way to work together, like what our Deputy Trade Minister again emphasized, the vertical integration concept of the supply chain, where each country can take a certain position or certain role within the entire supply chain, and then we, instead of competing with each other, we work with each other to ensure that all of us will benefit from each other, from the whole reconfiguration or reorganization of the global supply chain in the semiconductor sector.
But here's one, Doctor. How can Southeast Asian countries or even the forefront players, what can they do in terms of balancing the need of things like foreign investment in the tech sector, while there are still concerns about being over-reliant to external factors and perhaps even the potential loss of their market share in that sense?
Well, essentially, it will still up to the individual Southeast Asian countries to really do their work. It's not just we just sit there and then the investments will come and then we will we reap the benefits from there. Right? It's actually
Right.
it's not that easy. It's not that smooth sailing, because these semiconductor investors, they come in for certain reasons, like, do we have enough adequate skilled labor for them to utilize on? Do we have enough resources? Because these eventually, when they set up the factories in particular Southeast Asian countries, they all use a lot of water, electricity, So, and also the regulatory regime. Do we have a very friendly regulatory regime for the foreign investors to come to each of the Southeast Asian countries? So all these are long-standing limitations that we haven't really, or even still in the middle of dealing after many years. So eventually, it's still up to individual countries to really beef up all these things, and then before we go up, and then before we can actively attract all these semiconductor investors from overseas.
Right. It's, of course, through that Southeast Asia's tech industry is the hotspot right now. And so much needs to be done to unlock its full potential for sustainable growth and prosperity. Doc, we will check in with you soon again for more on these topics. Till then, take care. We're taking a quick breather right now. Stay with me for more global updates. Back soon, right here on Bernama TV. You're watching Bernama World.